Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to IFFGD's Research Award Winner Series, Where Are They Now? This program was designed not only to acknowledge this year as being IFFGD's 30th anniversary, but to also give us a chance to reconnect with some of our past Research Award winners. And today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Santos, who was our 2009 IFFGD Research Award winner for Junior Investigator in Clinical Science. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Santos.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here and to be able to share my present situation with all the patients involved. So thanks a lot.
Such a pleasure. So can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're currently located and some of your research focus?
So yeah, I'm presently working in Barcelona in a big general hospital in the Department of Gastroenterology. Yeah, I'm involved both in clinical and research activities.
Nice. So we're here today to kind of talk about the IFFGD award that you received in 2009. So can you tell us just a little bit about maybe how winning that award may have influenced your career?
Yes, the water is still here. Okay, so yeah, I think at that time I was kind of in mid-career and so definitely the award gave me a boost, no, to connect with my patients and to go ahead with my research. I had basically no doubts on my intention to go ahead with the research, but it really meant for me a boost, no, as I said, no. So I was really proud of getting this prize, and I decided, and I was that I decided I wanted to be ahead in this kind of research and to be involved to help patients with this kind of disorders. So yeah, it was really a boost for me.
Yeah, and probably just a little bit of motivation to continue of what you're
Oh,
doing.
huge motivation, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We always, when we want into research, being doctors, no, medical doctors, it's always difficult to combine, no, both activities, no, and sometimes you may have the feeling, okay, I don't have time for this, so I want to go for money, no, but at the end, you are a vocational doctor and you want to help your patients, and at the end of the road, you realize how important is research for your clinical units, no? So it gives you a wider, no, comprehension of the disorders. You are up to date of all the treatments and pathogenesis and all, and this is really great. No, I think it makes a big difference, no, being in research or being out of research.
Yeah, and speaking of patients and how your research really helps you with that, can you tell us just a little bit about some of your current research topics that you're working on today?
Yeah, so I'm proud to say that now I have a huge grant from the European Community, and this grant is involved in the origin of comorbidities, basically mental comorbidities, and also somatic comorbidities such as fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome in IBS patients. No, so it's a grant that I'm coordinating with some other excellent researchers across Europe. No, and I think it's a huge achievement for all of us because at least in Europe, it has been really difficult to get money for IBS research. No, you can get always funding from local or regulatory agencies, sometimes from Europe, but from the kind of these big grants is has been really a tough path road, and so I'm really happy to say that we are involved now in this brain gut research.
Yeah, it's such a hot topic right now of understanding that connection for sure, and just receiving the grant. It really, honestly, it's a lot. It costs a lot to do the research. So receiving that grant money, I'm sure, also gives you a huge boost to continue on investigating some of those things that are common questions amongst the patient community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then so basically with some of the research that you are doing in IBS patients or anything to that nature, what do you hope you gain a better understanding about in doing this research?
Well, basically, I really want to understand more the mechanistic, some of the mechanistic, no? So I'm involved in basically in the microenvironment of the gut, no? All what it takes, no? Microbiota, the intestinal lining, no? All the immune system, the endocrine and neurotransmitters there and how they can connect with the brain, no? To well, at the end to produce no symptoms and this is very important because I can understand that in doing this research we can understand or we can progress with therapies, no, not only pharmacological therapies, also alternative therapies, no, that we already have for these patients, no, and you will know these patients that are hearing us they know that sometimes it's difficult that a single drug or a single therapy is going to work for them, no? And sometimes you need to combine all a bunch of these therapies to be able to help better the patients, no? So this is what is really important for me, the
Yeah,
patients.
for sure. And every patient is different. And it's just what you said to that point of just figuring out how do we combine some of these, especially if one option, one treatment option isn't working or helping them manage their symptoms, because really the symptoms of many of these chronic GI disorders can be very impactful and can almost be it can really detriment the ability and quality of life for the patient for sure.
Well, there are many publications on that, and there's no doubt about the impact of this disorder in quality of life, employment, and many other things. No, so and on the other side, these patients they also say that many doctors that are involved in GI clinical work, they don't understand them or they don't dedicate them the proper time, no? And in many occasions it still happens, no, in my country that the patients come to you as their last chance because they have been told that they need to go to the psychiatrist or to other kind of doctors because this is not a problem of a GI problem, no? So how bad, no? So we are fighting against that, and I think this is really important, no?
Yeah, for sure. And especially just knowing how debilitating these conditions can be, just doing the research to better understand these conditions is very significant in the field. And so speaking of some of the research that you are doing, what other acknowledgements have you received since being a researcher?
Well, I have received several acknowledgements, but I'm really proud of two of them. One was an award given by the United European Gastroenterology Federation, no? And it was as a Rising Star Award, no? That was when I was younger, no? And it helped me a lot as the IFFGD award. And the second one I'm really proud of is the Rome being a Rome fellow from 6 or 7 years ago, no? Because basically you are involved in understanding the disease and obviously in dealing with diagnostic criterion tests and obviously with therapies. No, I'm really proud to be involved in this kind of theories.
Yeah, those are very significant acknowledgments for sure. Yeah, congratulations to all of those.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so when we talk about research, we know that all the research that anyone's really doing is very important in the field to really advance the field. But what would you consider maybe being your most successful research study?
Yes, in my case, I'm really happy, and this is probably reflected, no, in the number of citations that you have. I have not had. So there are two principal ways I'm happy with this. One is the description, the initial description of the involvement of immune cells, particular mast cells in the origin of disease, and I think this has now been confirmed like 20 years later, no, with a huge paper in Nature, no, where it is demonstrated, no, the ability of these particular immune cells to to be involved in pain, in the generation of abdominal pain in these patients, and giving us some very important clues, no, in how to treat and deal with these patients, no. This is one particular research that I'm really proud of, no. And the second one is, and it's a line that I also want to go ahead with, is the the understanding of how or how female predisposition, no, is so important in these disorders, and the comorbid disorders that are associated, no. And I think we really need to work harder on this, no. So we have performed some investigations, no, trying to understand how the intestinal barrier, no, is different in women and men, and how some women, obviously not all women, they have a kind of a predisposition because the barrier doesn't work well, no, and it reacts badly against the infections, against the stress, no, it giving us again important clues, no, to differentiate, no, some therapies that should be perhaps different in women and men, no? And I'm really proud of that. And this is also because part of my working partners or my research fellows, no, have been doing for so many years now, and there are I don't know 4 or 5 very important publications in this field that I'm really happy to share with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really think that a lot of the research that you are doing will definitely help us better understand some of these conditions, and especially about the gender difference and how gender really does play a role and how your symptoms are experienced, you know? So I'm excited to really hear about how the outcome of some of those studies come and what we gain a better understanding about as far as our gender and how it relates to our GI disorder.
Yeah, it's always the same. No, we are dealing with gender and sex, no, and basically we are able to perform very important studies relating to biological sex. No, gender is much more complicated, no, because it implies all not the biological sex, but only, but the well, the epigenetic mechanisms and all the things that happen along your life, no, being
Mhm.
female or male, and this is we don't have very good tools, no, now to do that. But I'm pretty sure that in the next future, the next years, we will be able to perform studies to differentiate gender and sex.
Yeah, how exciting to kind of hear about some of those advances, especially just later whenever the actual research comes out about some of the detail. So, before you were talking about how much you really enjoy the connection between research and your patients, but can you tell us just a little bit more about why you enjoy being a researcher?
Well, it's something that is like being a doctor. I decided to become a doctor or became a doctor many years ago when I was 14 or 13. No, it was really vocational. No, my father was a doctor, and some of my brothers are also doctors. No, so there's something inside you that no propels you to there. No, and research. Well, I was from the beginning, no, from the beginning of my academic career, I was interested in research because I understood early that that was the right way, no, to progress, no, in understanding these disorders. I have to say, obviously, that I have tremendous uh, 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 master, no, teachers, no, in my career, no, Dr. Manajalala, Dr. Piros, they have been involved from the beginning, no, in my teaching. So this has been really important for me. How when you see how these people work and all the dedication that they have to research, well, if you are from the beginning happy to do that, and you have these masters there. No, I mean it's easy to go ahead. No, and obviously they are in the way there are well some fluctuations. No, but I have to say that I have been always very happy, and I try to teach my fellows now and the clinical fellows and the research fellows how important is research. No, because it's the way to progress in every science path. No, I mean it's not only medicine. No, it's any it's the way to have a reward. No, at the end of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, really the people that come before us, they're really our inspiration. And you know that they're the ones that kind of plant that seed of, oh, you know what? I do actually want to go into this. I want to help people understand GI conditions. I want to raise awareness. And that's so cool to really understand your passion and why you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, and at the end, research is connected to many other things, no? To so basically docency and teaching and whatever, no? You are so happy, no, being or dealing with young people, no, and trying to understand things and to feel how they progress, and you feel responsible also of their careers, no? So it's unbelievable, yeah. It's
Yeah, for
really,
sure. Beautiful connection. You know, research it's obviously advancing, especially just speaking to you today and understanding some of the things that you are involved in your lab, but we still know that there are some gap needs in research. So, what do you see as being some of the gap needs in research for the GI community, and how do you foresee some of those gap needs being fulfilled through your lab?
yeah, obviously there are many gaps there, but I think we are identifying these gaps. No, obviously one of the important gaps is to get biomarkers, no, for these disorders. Probably because at present we are diagnosing these patients with well with clinical criteria, no, and we are in the 21st century, no? So I think we need to progress on that. Probably this is not easy because probably we need to combine different biomarkers, no? Clinical biomarkers and also genetic biomarkers and microbiota biomarkers, for example, no? And I think when we get the perfect or the adequate combination, we probably will be able to separate or to split, no, subtypes of the disorders, no, based on this, and obviously to target or therapies, no, more properly, no. This is extremely important right now, no. On the other side, as I began my talk today or my conversation with you, I think the other important gaps for me are gender issues, no, related and brain gut understanding. No? So very glad I think is also extremely important because as you all well know, these patients they suffer a lot of comorbidities and we need to understand which is the reason, whether the problem is in the gut or the problem is in the brain or probably is in the connection between the gut and the brain and this is these three areas I think they are really important to help patients better.
Yeah, and you know, just what we said before, every patient is different, and we're just really excited not only to have spoken with you today, but to also just hear about some of the advances that are being made in the field as far as just figuring out how we can maybe differentiate some of these treatments and not just keep one treatment for every single patient. And that's what's exciting for sure about everything really that you have spoken about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning into our Research Award Winner series today. It has been a significant pleasure to really speak with you today, Dr. Santos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your journey.
And a message to the patients at the end, no? Be confident. I think there's many people around there that is working for you and is working to help you out. And I think the path is there, and I'm pretty sure that in not many years we will have better solutions to help you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that message. Then thank you everyone who has tuned in IFFGD's Research Award Winner series, Where Are They Now? And again, thank you, Dr. Santos.
Thank you.